Hello there, welcome to my channel. I'm Angela from artorai.com. I don't know if you've heard of these are called curtain cards. They have been around a lot of years, but I like jumping on bandwagons, so why not? It's the only exercise I get lately. So I thought, why not jump on this bandwagon? Like I said, they have been out a good while now, quite a few years, but I really like the way they look. And depending on the type of paper that you use, you can get some absolutely beautiful effects. I wouldn't say this was a beginner project exactly, so I probably have no right to even try it, but I did. And it took me about 3 attempts and I eventually got it right. And I think it looks really nice. I think the only downside really is that you end up with a fairly thicker card, but you should be able to send this through the normal post, I imagine. The card size itself is the American A2 size because, quite frankly, although I do use that card size very, very often, it's the only size that I could find that had the proper measurements for the actual drapes, the curtains. I don't particularly think the card base, the brown, goes with the blue, but never mind, hindsight. But inside I just put a white piece on there just so they can write a message. And I don't often use ribbons on my card, but there is a bit up there that we'll be having to cover as you'll see as we go along. So now to the supplies. I have to write the measurement. It's the measurements that are tricky, and I've got them all here next to me, so hopefully I will get them right. Surely even I can't get written ones wrong, but we'll see. So this is the card base, the 5.5 by 4.25. You need 3 different types of cardstock, one of which should really be double-sided, because when you're making the curtain pattern, you have the pattern on one side and whatever's on the other side is going to show through. If you just want white showing through, I mean, that's up to you, of course. But ideally one should be double-sided, which this is. This is the paper pack I've been trying to use up for the past 2 years. Right, this is going to be the background. I'm not sure which side I'm going to use. That probably that one. So this needs to be, I'm working in inches by the way, this should be 4 by 5.25. We need a smaller piece, possibly with a different pattern, at 4 by 2 inches. And then we have this, which is 11.5 by 4 inches. Now we'll get the hard part out of the way first. Normally I would use my Sizzix scoreboard and trimmer, but it actually doesn't extend as far as I need it to when we're going to be scoring. So I am using, this is a Stampin Up one. There are similar ones to these on the market, which I'll leave links to in the description if you don't want to go through Stampin Up. But it's excellent. I mean, I've just pulled this out because I needed it for this project, but it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. Right, so try and think how to do this. This needs to be cut or marked. If you want to mark it, you'd mark 1 inch in at that side, and then at the opposite end at the bottom you'd mark in another inch, and then put it in your trimmer and cut along there. But you can do it this way. If you have a trimmer similar to this, you can put one corner onto the inch at the top, and then the other pointed corner to the inch at the bottom. Let me see if I can get this right. I did it wrong last time. So that's 1 inch there, and 1 inch there. Should work okay. Then close it and just cut. And then you end up with 2 pieces, so you can get 2 cards out of this if you wanted to, with different patterns on. But like I say, if you just wanted to mark it 1 inch in from one side, the opposite end 1 inch in from the other side, put a mark on and then just cut down there. But I found that really easy to do. I'm sorry it's not in view properly. I should have had it that way, shouldn't I? But as you can see, you get 2 pieces and you can use whichever side you want. So the hardest part is the cutting, I think, sort of getting the cutting right. But we also have a bit of scoring to do. One reason I like this trimmer is because it has a scoring blade included as well. So I'm going to go through the measurements with you. So make sure that the large flat side is where you're going to start scoring. It's difficult because some scorers you start from the left, some scorers you start from the right. So all I can suggest is that you start scoring at this flat side here. So you may have to turn it over to use on some scoreboards, but I'm going to use it this way up. I have a piece that I cut earlier, so I'm going to use this one instead of the one I've just shown you there. So the first score mark, let me get this right, is at 1 inch. 1 inch. Then 2.5 inches. Then 3.25. Then 4.75. Then 5.75. Then 7.25. 8. 9.5. And 10.25. So let me hope that's right. We shall soon see. Whichever way you want the pattern to face, that is where you start. So I want this pattern, I think, you can change your mind later, it doesn't matter. I want this pattern to be on the top, so I'm going to fold that, this big part here I'm going to fold under there. Now I do suggest that you start burnishing the sides and creasing them to make sure that it is absolutely flush with the top there. Right, so that's the first one. We folded that under, the next one goes over like that, and then the next one like that. It's just a basic concertina or accordion fold, whatever you like to call it, and you just do that all the way along, and then you just keep going on like that, folding forward and then back, and just keep. See, that one's gone off a little bit there, so I'll just make sure it's flush, crease, then back, and the last one should be a fairly long piece like that. Don't worry too much if it's not quite even there, because this is going to be covered up. So mine is going to go on, this should measure 4 inches, yes, which it does. So if you wanted the other pattern on the front, you would just turn it round and just put it under like that, and then just fold them all the opposite direction to the other side. Like that, and then you can decide then what you can do is you can get your background piece and decide which you think looks best. I actually might have mine on like that, but then I don't like that, so I'm going to have mine this way, so I need to fold it again that way. And just means my folds are going to be in the opposite direction, that's all, no big deal. So that's what that's going to be like, and then you can of course choose whatever pattern paper you like to go on the top. I'm going to choose the same one because I think it looks cute, and we're going to put some ribbon over there, so don't worry about that. So I think I like that, because if you see on this one, all 3 patterns are different, which is absolutely perfectly fine. You could even have that blank if you wanted and put your sentiment on there. There are lots of ways to do this, but I think I'm going to have mine like that, and I'm going to have the same pattern paper on the top there, just for this card. So I'll put those to one side. Now this is a little bit fiddly as it is, so we do need to stick these down. So all I'm going to do is start putting some glue on the edge of each one, just to fasten it down like that, and just keep going. So that's that side done. So what you would do now is turn it over and do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to put some on this, on the inside there, because this is going up, so if I were to put it on there, the glue would hang over the edge, so I'm putting it on the inside of this bit. Now once again, give everything a good crease. Make sure everything's well stuck down, and now we can start assembling the card. So I was in two minds whether to have that, because I quite like that pattern, or whether to have that because it's a little bit bolder, a little bit more contrast, but I already have that on the other card. Oops. So I think what I'll do is I'll have this pattern on that side. So what I'm going to do is this 4x2 I'm going to stick on there, and there's a little bit sticking out, but that doesn't matter, I'll just trim that off. So I'm going to stick that on the top. Right, as you can see, it's overhanging a little bit there, so I'll cut that off. Right, now this goes on the bottom, and I have no idea why that's not matching up there, but thankfully it doesn't matter, because we are going to be covering that up. So I'm going to glue this down. Put your glue along the top, and then on all of these little bits. Put it flush against the side, and like I said, I have no idea why that's gone like that. Perhaps this bit wasn't cut straight. I think that's what it's been. But that isn't flush to there either. That's why you need to take really great care when you're folding it and creasing it. But like I said, it doesn't particularly matter in this case, because we are going to be covering that up. Right, so that is the basic card. Now I am going to use ribbon. So the reason I'm using so much Stampin' Up this time is because a few weeks ago they had an amazing sale on ribbon, and I didn't have much ribbon, so I bought a load, and I love their ribbons, I must admit. Right, so you can cut a piece off just slightly bigger than the width of the card. I think that's going to look really nice. Now I'm going to put some little bits of tape, because we're going to tape it down at the back of the card. So what I'm going to do is put it along there, tape it at the back of each side, and then that bit there will be covered over nicely. You can use washi tape, sellotape, anything you like, but I think that looks really nice. I like that tape, that ribbon, it's lovely. I mean, if you wanted to, you could put double-sided sticky tape on the ribbon to make sure that it was stuck down correctly. I probably should have done that, to be honest, because then you wouldn't be able to see that bit that I've missed. But never mind, we'll just leave it like that for now. So before I do anything else, I do want to adhere this to the card base. And you know, I don't like that card base now. I'm going to have a white one. Won't be long. Right, so I have a card base, and I'm going to adhere that to there. Now, I should tell you that my measurements for this card have been a little bit off, so yours should be accurate, but mine aren't because of one thing and another that I won't go into. Yeah, I wished I'd put some double-sided sticky tape on the ribbon so it wasn't lifting up, but that's okay. That's not too bad. So I'm quite liking this one actually. What was I going to do now? Yes, so now the ribbon's on there, I'm going to make a bow and adhere it onto the ribbon on there. I'm going to use glue dots on this just for quickness, but I strongly suggest if you're sticking cloth on cloth you should really use a glue gun. It'll be much better. The stick will be better. But I'm just going to bung a couple of glue dots on there because this isn't a great bow anyway. I'll probably take it off later and redo it. I don't know what's gone wrong with that one. It doesn't look right at all. Anyway, never mind. Right, so now you have to decide where you're going to put your sentiment. I've put the sentiment down there, but because this is fairly plain, I think I'll have the sentiment up there this time. I'll just go and look for one. Right, I found a sentiment that I like. It's from the Crafter's Companion Venetian Grace, it's called. Moment in Time Clear Acrylic Stamp Set. Some lovely sentiments in there. I found a generic oval nesting die. Just, I think it was from Temu or somewhere like that. And, oh, this cloth. This is from Tonic Studios. This is a sort of cleaning cloth. Well, I bought it and it was all like dry and crispy, and I thought, this doesn't seem very good. And then I read you have to keep them moist, so that was on me. But anyway, it's really great for cleaning your stamps. I mean, this stamp has had pigment ink on because I use VersaFine, and it's cleaned it really nicely. Put it back in here, keep it moist. So what I use to moisten it, I don't run it under the tap or anything. I use this. This is also, oh, this is from Spellbinders. It's a mist spray, and it's brilliant. So I just spray this on it every now and again, put it back in its little bag, and it just lasts. It's great. Okay, so that's all by the by. I'm going to have this lifted up, so I'm going to put a couple of foam pieces on. I need one in the middle there, so I shall cut one down the middle. Done my usual bang up job, haven't I? Anywho, I'm going to put glue on just so I can wiggle it about a bit if I need to. Get the best of both worlds then. You get your dimension and your wiggle room. That's so, it'll do. If you wanted to, you could cut out the next size up of your little nest and die and have a little border around, but I think that looks quite nice as it is. I think we just need some bling now. And for my water / beach type cards, I like to use these because they look like bubbles and I just think they look really nice. In different sizes. I think these are from Temu as well. Decide where they're going to go. One there perhaps. Then a smaller one. Oh, I like that already. And one that I can barely pick up. There. Do you think that'll look okay? Yeah, well, it's going to have to do because I'm getting sick of this card now. But I think that's really nice. I like that much better than this one. It all depends on your different taste, doesn't it? Everybody has different tastes. I like this one. I'll be interested to know which is your favourite. So I'm not sure what you thought about that, whether you've attempted any one of these. I'd be interested to know, as always. You can always post to my Facebook group, it's free to join. You can post on my blog, it's free to join. But any interaction, whether it's in the comments section, whether it's liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, anything like that is always so very welcome. It really helps out a creator's channel with any interaction on it. It really does help, and every creator will be grateful for any interaction at all. I really appreciate you watching to the end. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. As I said before, I will leave the measurements on the blog post and leave a link to that blog post in the description below this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye now.